this one here. And in this series, you're going to get to experience a build from me in this space, but we will also be taking you inside the workshops and maker spaces of incredible makers and designers from all across the country. From costumers to creature makers, from puppet masters to chainsaw sculptures, you're going to get a unique view into their working process, their design aesthetic, and the spaces in which they work. So pick up a notebook, have a look around, and enjoy. That is uncompleted projects. Things I haven't started, things I started and abandoned. Some of them have been there for years. I like it all staring at me. So I built those racks specifically to put my uncompleted projects front and center. But what I wanted to talk about was this ladder of hand tools. This is sort of a key part of my education and how I And I was very proud to have 6 feet of them, but at a certain point I realized I've sold doors for the right pair of pliers, and I need them so frequently I can't keep them in these drawers. I realized that I have this fundamental aversion to drawers. I think that's when things go to die. So I got rid of those drawers. I got rid of that Kennedy set. I gave it to my shop assistant at the time, and I built this ladder rack to house all of them in a single plane. What I mean is, every tool on this rack can be obtained without moving any of the other tools out of the way. This is what I do for the most mission critical of my tools in this space, and I call it first order retrievability. In addition to it exemplifying a design philosophy, it also houses some of my favorite tools. This is a surgical stapler that I use as a pair of pliers for getting inside something.
Costumer Alexis Noriega's love of cosplay and fantasy has morphed into a career constructing and designing articulated wings for performers and cosplayers. Today we're visiting her studio to see just how she designs, engineers, and constructs these magnificent mechanical constructions that are meant to be worn.
Hi, my name is Alexis Noriega, and I am the owner and lead designer at The Crooked Feather. Welcome to the chaos that is the shop. I make costume wings and costumes for cosplayers, theater, film, pretty much anybody who will pay me to make them. And the main thing that I do is I make articulating wings like this one. And these open and close at the push of a small little key fob. And that's what I'm going to be working on today. But we also make static wings that don't move, that are a little more Victoria's Secret and pretty. We make fairy wings, we make helmets, we make, armor and foam work, and pretty much anything that I feel like making here. So I work on straight to the board. It's a little more robust and
This is the table at which we record Still Untitled every week. Some of my display cabinets are behind me, although you might not be able to see them through all the spacesuits. For some reason, I can't take my spacesuits down. They all just have to be up and around me. And in front of me on this table is an old sculpture of mine. I've never covered this on Tested. It is my soft mace, a spiked mace, one of the, I think, more vicious weapons from medieval times that I made out of white canvas and stuffing. My inspiration was one of my favorite sculptors, Klaus Oldenburg, who made a beautiful and kind of disgusting sculpture of a toilet out of sewn vinyl. It's called Soft Toilet, and it's as if the world is melting. It's sort of sitting there like that, and because it's a toilet, it's evocative of all this, different emotions, and I wanted a similar sort of feel, so I thought I'd make a vicious weapon that was a stuffed toy. Now, when I first made this, I was living down in Bayview in Hunters Point, working for Chico Mercury at Morphic Robot Works, and I didn't have a chain between the handle and the base. I my cave. We're in a corner of my display area. Hey guys, welcome to a lesser known area of my cave. This is my mold making area. I got a slop sink behind me and a dirty table, a table I can get as dirty as I want. And this is where I often deal with casting and mold making in the shop. What do I use casting and mold making for? Well, in the Haywood Floyd lunchbox, for example, that I made in 2001 Space Odyssey, it had a couple of latches on it that I looked for months and realized I couldn't find, so I have to make them from scratch. And so I did. This is my master latch made in 2 pieces out of sheet styrene. And once I had completed this to my satisfaction, it was time to make a mold. I put silicone around it. And you pour resin into that silicone mold. This is what you get. Actually, this is what you get. This is where the resin goes in. It comes through this sprue tree, fills up the cross, and then you cut those parts off, clean them up, and you've got your casting. Now you might have noticed if you look carefully that I've got some screws here, some cap head screws. This is a technique I learned from Tony Preciado, who's a master moldmaker at Industrial Light and Magic. And Tony's technique is to actually place the screw in when you're molding the part. And then when you're casting it, you put a screw back in those positions where it just sits there in the silicone. When you pour the resin around it, what you end up with is a screw that once you unscrew, re-threads the holes in your mechanical part. It saves a tremendous amount of time out of the now, it took me a few castings to get this correct. I ended up with actually a whole bag of castings. But once I had two that I liked, I cleaned them up, tried them, painted them, and made them last. This is stuff I've been doing all this time, and it comes from other
We often think of art sculptors in terms of the mediums that they work in, whether it's clay, wood, or metal. But sculpture is also informed by the tool choice of the artist. And artist Griffin Ramsey's wood sculptures are affected by a single, very dangerous tool, a chainsaw. Let's head to her studio and watch how she shapes her medium.